Hey, what's up, everybody? DFS Rico coming at you with my picks and insight for this NBA four-game slate on Wednesday, August 19th for Draftkings. We got a four-gamer. We got the game twos of this slate: Brooklyn versus Toronto, Utah versus Denver, Philly versus Boston, and Dallas versus the Clippers. But before I get started, if you could like, comment, subscribe, I really do appreciate it. I'm just going to be providing my core four today. Four guys that I'm looking at playing in small GPPs and cash lineups. And then if you want like bigger GPP and pivot plays, I do provide that over on my Patreon. I just recorded like a 30-minute video breaking down the slate, talking more about it. For $10 a month, you can sign up on my Patreon. I'll put it in the description. And then you got the access to the Discord as well, which I will talk to you guys before the slate starts and try to help you guys out if you have questions. But let's get to it. First thing I want to do is look over at these over-unders. We got the Brooklyn versus the Raptors. The Nets did lose by 24 that first game. They did play a ton of minutes. All the starters still played like 34 plus minutes. I'm assuming it's because they brought it close at one point and then they ended up getting blown out again. But like Lowry played a ton of minutes. Van Vliet played a ton of minutes. Anunoby played 35. The only one that really lost out was Siakam. Siakam only played 31 minutes. So that was interesting. That's what worries me about this game. If you think this game stays close, I don't mind getting pieces from this game with that high over-under, but that's kind of up to you guys to decide. And then Utah and Denver, 217. We know how they went to overtime. They practically broke the slate. Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray went off, especially Mitchell went off. And then you got Sixers and Celtics, 215 implied total. I think they're the lowest on the slate. You had guys in this game go off as well last game. Jaylen Brown went off for 50, I think. Jason Tatum went off for 50, 58. So, and then even I think Gordon Hayward's having a good game. And just remember, Gordon Hayward is out for this game. So you will see a lot of ownership go to Kemba, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum. You'll see all these guys getting a decent amount of ownership. And then for the next one, we got Dallas Mavericks and the Clippers, 230.5. They did miss the over-under by like 12 points in that game one, so just be careful with that. The Clippers were playing very slow, trying to keep, obviously, Luka contained and not letting him just do Luka things, Luka magic. Porzingis is questionable, but I think he plays. It's the playoffs. I think they push him out there and play him. I don't see why not. And I think he comes back with a vengeance this game. We'll see, though. So I'm just going to provide a core four is what I call it. Just four players that I would be looking at playing. Take a good look at to play unless random news pop up in the morning. So be careful with that. But as of right now, four guys I'm really looking at playing. If I'm scrolling down the point guard position, I do like Kemba Walker at 6.8. I think he's a little underpriced. He was 6.6 the first time out. First game, put up 16 shots. He was 0 for 4 from 3. 19 points, 5 assists. He gets a decent bump with what's his name off the court. I don't think he gets the biggest bump, but at 6.8, I think it's mainly the price tag for me. So let's look at who gets the biggest bump. Jason Tatum goes to 32%. So Jason Tatum gets a 3.1% bump. Kemba Walker doesn't even get a bump, but he does get a pretty decent amount of fantasy points per game bump. Without Gordon Hayward on the court, he's averaging 1.19 fantasy points per minute, which is very good. And as price tag, I do like him. I mean, obviously I like Jason Tatum, but he is pricier at 9K. But I also don't, like I said, don't mind Tatum, but I think in a small GPP and cash, I think I like Kemba Walker a little better just because he is cheaper. Obviously, you see guys. Jaylen Brown goes to 24.8. Marcus Smart, decent bump. I think the main guys, in my opinion, that get the biggest bump is Tatum and Kemba get the best bumps from this guy being out. So I do like Kemba Walker. I'm going to be plugging him in 6.8K. I mean, 5 times value is 35 points. I think he could easily get us 40 tonight. As long as the game stays close and he plays 35 minutes, he will take a lot more shots, have more ball handling duties. So I do like him a fairly good amount at 6.8. Scrolling down, the next guy I want to talk about wasn't that great the first game, but I still like him. He only got priced up by 100, 4.7. Jordan Clarkson. He played 39 minutes the first game. 34 minutes in regulation. He had 5 personal fouls, so he might have lost a couple minutes due to foul trouble. But we all know Donovan Mitchell went off, so he ended up just taking a ton more shots. It's kind of like go to the guy with the hot hand. I don't expect Mitchell to have the same type of game again, so I do like Jordan Clarkson at 4.7. He got priced up by 200. He's going to take a ton of shots. Still no Conley. 4.7. For only getting priced up 200, I don't see a reason I wouldn't go back to him for $200 more. We know what kind of upside he can bring us as well. He's going to take shots. He's going to have ball. He's going to have a pretty decent amount of usage. So I do like Jordan Clarkson at 4.7 as of right now. I do like him a fairly good amount at the shooting guard position. And obviously, if you don't want to play him, just a nugget, I guess you could play Alec Burks if you don't want to play him. You can pay down for Burks or pay up for Harris is the way I would go if you didn't want to play Jordan Clarkson, which I get more into detail over on the Patreon. And then scrolling, you got your small forward position. You got some pretty good players. You got Luka, Kawhi, you got Tatum, Paul George. Going over to power forward position, you got Tatum again, Harris, Siakam, Michael Porter. The next guy I want to talk about is at the center position. I do want to talk about Joel Embiid at 9.9. Played 37 minutes the first game. He only put up 15 shots. I was honestly very surprised. I thought he would take more than 20 shots that game. In the games where he's taking over 20 shots, he has a really high ceiling. No Ben Simmons. They really had no one to stop him that first game. 26 fantasy points, 16 rebounds. Looked like he was in foul trouble as well. I think he's my favorite stud to pay up for just because of the Ben Simmons injury and because Boston really has nobody to slow him down. Daniel Tice can't do nothing. Cantor can't do nothing. Whoever they throw at him is having a lot of trouble. As long as this game can remain close, I like Joel Embiid. I like pairing him up with Kemba Walker in like a mini game stack, I guess you could say. 9.9K, we know what kind of usage he gets. He gets like 34% usage without Ben Simmons on the court. If he's not in foul trouble, he's going to get a ton of rebounds. He's going to get a ton of shot opportunities. I think I prefer paying up for him over anybody, but I can see the interest towards Luka, obviously. I can see the interest towards Tatum, especially. Tatum would probably be my second favorite spend-up spot, and then Luka. I think I'd like a more balanced build today because there isn't that much value that I really feel comfortable paying in. I mean, looking over at the values, you scroll down, there's really not much that I like that I'm need. There's a lot of guys in the mid range that you really want to take a look at though. Just looking at the mid range, there's a fairly good amount of guys in the mid range that I'd rather pick over guys that are priced very, very, very cheap or very, very, very expensive. And the last guy I want to talk about is at the small forward position. I like Joe Harris at 5K. Played a decent amount of minutes that first game. He's going to play a decent amount of minutes this game. He put up 14 shots, he put up 5 threes, 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Put up 31 fantasy points in that first game at 5K. I think he gets us about 30 fantasy points in every playoff game as long as the games stay close. So I do like him. Shot really good, 57% from the field. He's usually shooting very good from the field. I mean, 64%, 62, 72, 42. He's a very good and efficient shooter when he's on the court. So when he is getting shots, he's probably going to be making a decent amount and getting us to that at least 6 times value, which we'll need from him. So I do like Joe Harris as my other core 4 guy. These are the 4 guys that I would look at starting a lineup with just early on right now. I like Kemba. I like Clarkson, Harris, and Embiid. Not knowing ownership right now, it's kind of tough, but I mean, things could change for GPPs if I see guys like Kemba and Clarkson coming up with high ownership, or even Embiid. Might be different guys you want to play, which I will talk about in the Discord or the Patreon. So just like, comment, subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys like these picks. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you want, or if you have any questions. Thank you, guys.